how can you take your board meetings to another level of professionalism and really make them highly productive, really efficient, and a great opportunity for everyone to come together and make really key business decisions. First and foremost, you really do have to have a clear agenda, and making sure that the agenda is correct. We've got the right items on the agenda. Key issues have been sort of circulated or raised early, and everyone has a really clear understanding of what the meeting is going to cover so that the preparation work can occur. So an agenda is really your absolute baseline, but you can do a lot, I think, to really enhance the meeting by making sure the agenda is circulated early as possible, and that everyone's had an opportunity to put agenda items on the table, and we've got really clear understanding of what we're going to be covering off. I cannot tell you how many board organisations where I get the agenda at the very last minute. The board pack comes across quite late. Just not enough time to prep and to think things through and just really get my game plan together. So I'm sure this happens a lot across the board director market. So the agenda is really key. Circulate early, make sure it's got the right items on it. Everyone has a responsibility to kind of really obviously do their prep work, but a really good share will help facilitate the conversations and draw out the right information and so on. It can also work quite well to have different people facilitate different parts of the meeting. It really comes down to sort of personal preferences here, but I like to make sure everyone has an opportunity to facilitate conversation, draw out key questions, people to take some leadership on different points where they may have a little bit more area of expertise, really leveraging the power of the people around the boardroom table. So give some real thought to who is going to talk about what or what key issues might be coming up. Another thing that can work extremely well is kind of like the pre-meetings or the pre-discussions that even happen before the meeting. These conversations can be vital to circulating or socializing key ideas or concerns that individuals may have. And there's nothing wrong with, reaching out to your fellow board members and having an offline conversation. We've got the board meeting coming up at the end of the month. There's a couple of things that I think could be a bit of a sticking point. I just wanted to give you a heads up on a couple of things I'm looking at. That type of dialogue is very, very sensible, normal, healthy, and should be occurring. So don't leave board matters all for one particular meeting and one time. You want that meeting to be the kind of the point for where you make key decisions, but often you're circulating thoughts and ideas beforehand and you're having conversations, you're doing research and the like. So that is a key part of having a board meeting really be effective. And then finally, I like to see that there's a couple of opportunities in the board meetings to just bring everyone up to speed with the industry issues of the day, trends, where are we at? Often we get very bogged down in the detail, I guess the mechanics of the business decisions that we would need to make. We're focused on strategy, we're focused on risk, but it always helps if we can have a part of the meeting set aside to kind of take the 30,000 foot view and just get some overall perspective on things that we're noticing in the market and challenges that may be coming up. So you just got to get that balance right between the formal components of the meeting and maybe the more informal, but that can be very important to creating that camaraderie, the conversation around the table, the dialogue around the table, very, very important. As you would know, many boards now have quite comprehensive board packs. The quality of those packs are crucial to good quality board meetings, and you really have to consider how we educate and train up our senior leaders, our business leaders, as to how they present information to the business, to the board. board papers and the writing of board papers are critical, and I think there's a huge argument to having comprehensive training on this. What does the board want to see in the board papers? When do they want things to be for decision, for review? What do the parties want as an outcome? And that preparation of the board papers and then ultimately the board pack is really key. I'm hearing a lot of conversation around how big these board packs have become, and the key information can get lost in the detail. And getting to the nub of the problems, the heart of the problem. Where are we at in the business in getting the right dashboards of information coming through? So there has to be some form of education process around this, and working closely, mentoring your senior leaders about board paper presentations in the boardroom. What do you want to see? And then that obviously helps create a good experience for people who are coming into the boardroom and presenting to the board. And you want that to be, part of building the relationships, the mentorship that goes on between the board and the senior leadership team. So they're the sort of 4 key areas you've got to really concentrate on, I think, to lift the performance of the board meeting itself and to have a successful meeting. Always good to start on a positive and end on a positive note, and to do a bit of a debrief at the end of the day. How did we go today? What could we have done better? How could we improve? Constantly getting this feedback back into the boardroom. So you really do become a high-performing team, and this board meeting really becomes a highly productive meeting that produces really good outcomes. We're not going around in circles, constantly not able to make good decisions, and we're really confident in the decisions that we're making. That really starts to move us towards a high-performing board, and a high-performing meeting underpins all of that.